guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to yet another video. Today we are ranking the Championship managers for the upcoming 23-24 Championship season. We're ranking them on what they've done at their current clubs, what they've done in the Championship in general, and what they've done elsewhere, I suppose. We'll try and roll it all up into one. I'm joined by Sophie.
How you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Yeah, well, thank you.
Good stuff. Right, before we get into this video, guys, you know the drill. Let's hit that like button. Let's go for 307 likes today, because it is important to hit that number. Hit that like button and do subscribe. I know there's people watching that aren't subscribed. Come on, hit it. What are you doing? Hit it now. Once again, we are using a tier list for today's video. We have got A star, A, B and C. Just like when we did our Premier League managers ranking video, I don't think there's any managers we can put in D. I don't think any teams would have a manager that's D worthy going into the start of the new season. There's some managers that are unproven that might just have to go in C, but let me know your thoughts, guys. And a good question is, who's going to be the first to be sacked this season? History tells us half of the clubs will sack their managers this season. And which club do you reckon it'd be first?
Watford.
Probably. Let's start off with Coventry City. So it's Mark Robins, the GOAT.
Straight up.
I don't think anyone
Best
who's...
manager in the league.
Yeah, by the way...
Not even biased either. I know it's going to sound biased coming from two Coventry fans.
Yeah.
But he's the longest serving.
The longest serving manager.
He's taken Coventry City from League 2 all the way up to the Championship, and we narrowly missed out on a Premier League place last season because of the playoff final. And
I think the brilliant thing to compare it to as well is the lack of success before him. Coventry City fans my age have never really known success up until Mark Robins. We had Tony Mowbray, who was quite good. We had Russell Slade, who was rubbish. We had Stephen Presley, who was okay. We've had a long line of nearly managers and managers that just didn't take us anywhere. Mark Robins has stuck at it. He's now the longest serving Championship manager. 2 promotions, 3 trophies on his CV with Coventry City. And yeah, like you say, so close to the Premier League. Maybe this year will be the one. Mark
with a
Robins.
small budget as well. Let's add that in there. Tiny budget, massive mess behind the scenes.
Exactly. Homelessness.
Yeah. Pitch issues.
Pitch issues. Yeah, just everything. Owners that weren't willing to back him at the start. You know. Brilliant. So, yeah, don't need to say anymore. Cardiff City, so this is kind of the opposite. Not because he's bad, but just because he's unproven. Yeah. It's Bulu, who's come in from Turkey. He's managed a few Turkish sides. This is his first stint in English football. It's an interesting direction for Cardiff City to go in. We don't know if it's going to pay off at this moment in time. I don't think we could put him anywhere higher than C. I think ungraded would be fair, but based on this tier list, I think he's got to go there, and we'll just see if he proves himself. Yeah, I do think there's a bit of pressure, to be honest, because Cardiff didn't have a great season last year, and they've got to be one of the relegation favourites this year. I know a couple of the Turkish fans, when he got appointed, they were saying he's not a good manager. Why have you done this? I don't understand it. So he is unproven. I don't think I can say a bad word about him because we've not seen him actually take charge of a game yet. So yeah, I think C's fair. As we say, he's unproven. We don't know. Sunderland, so it's Tony Mowbray. This guy has been around for a long time now. Yeah. He was a great player back in his day as well, and when it comes to his managerial record, he's already got a promotion from the Championship with West Bromwich Albion. I remember him at Middlesbrough. I obviously remember him at Coventry. In terms of recruitment, he builds up some of the best teams you've ever seen. In previous seasons, there's been this theory that he just can't seem to hack the second half of the season. With Blackburn Rovers in particular and Coventry, he'd get off to a great start to the season, and then they'd just go off. They'd just go off a cliff after January. But last season he got Sunderland into 6th place. Yeah. A 40% win ratio, absolutely ridiculous. He's got to go in A. Yeah, he's got to go in A. I do think it's going to be an interesting season again for Sunderland. I'm expecting good things. I think, again, their recruitment will be good. Whether that's signings or loan signings, he just builds a good team. And, yeah, he proved a lot of people wrong last season by not bottling it and making it to the playoffs, albeit didn't make it into the Premier League. However, he did have a good few injuries as well last season. Like, his main striker was out. So to get that far without your main man is, you've got to give credit to him and the team. I do think they're going to have another good season, and I do think he is a pretty good manager. Yeah, honestly, he's a very good manager. He's experienced. Yeah, we shall see how he gets on next season. Next up, it's Swansea City, and it's Michael Duff. Not experienced in the Championship, but he has managed in the Football League before. He managed Cheltenham, he managed Barnsley. Obviously, he managed Barnsley last season, so his recent track record is he got Barnsley all the way to the playoff final in a very competitive League One. Yes, he didn't quite get that promotion on his CV from League One there, but I still think he's proven himself in the Football League. Coming into Swansea, I don't know what the expectation will be, maybe for them to be pushing for the playoffs again.
Yeah.
It's difficult, Soph. Maybe a C+ or B-.
I'd go C+ because, again, he's improving in the Championship, and we're basing this on Championship managers. As you say, he has got experience in the EFL, which could make a difference compared to Baloo, the Cardiff manager. And I think there's quite high expectations at Swansea, so there's a bit of pressure there now. I do think they might have a good season though, so I do feel a little bit harsh having them in C, but I only think that's fair. So.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I feel like we'll see after a few weeks into the season if we can move him up the tier list a little bit. Millwall, Soph, Gary Rowett. What I like about Gary Rowett is he's been around the Championship for a while now. He's been at Millwall for a while now, which is a good thing. Continuity. I feel like most of the Millwall fans like Gary Rowett. Yes, they missed out on the playoffs agonisingly last season. He hasn't got a promotion on his CV yet. He's managed Birmingham, Stoke, Derby as well. But I feel at Millwall, that's where he's done the most of his good work, if that makes sense. Always getting them right close to the playoffs. Probably like an A.
Yeah, I would say an A. He is very, very consistent when talking about Millwall. You look at Millwall and you think they're always going to be kind of challenging for the playoffs now. Still had a great season, you can't take that away from him. So, very consistent manager in the Championship, but also at Millwall. So, yeah, A.
Okay, right, we've got Plymouth and Ipswich back to back here, so they're probably going to have to be given similar grades here. Plymouth, Stephen Schumacher, what he's done for Plymouth, unbelievable. He's been there since 2021, 2 years now. Who tipped them to win the league in League One last season? I don't think anyone did, and they did it with over 100 points. They were so good. It is pretty much his first managerial job, so it's the only thing we can measure against. Hasn't managed in the Championship yet, but let's give him time. Let's see how he gets on. But if we're ranking him at this moment in time, maybe a B, because he's not managed in the Championship before, but he's managed Plymouth before and done a great job, probably B+ or...
Yeah, so with him you think, okay, a little bit more optimism as he did so well in League One. And honestly, the standard of League One last year wasn't that far off the Championship, so...
Could he get an A or is it a B?
I would say B.
Okay.
Yeah, just because he's not proven himself in the Championship yet.
That's not an insult, by the way. Like you say, we're doing this and we're calling it Championship video. In terms of what he's done for Plymouth, absolutely amazing. Like, no manager could have done a better job than
what
he's done
for
at
Plymouth.
A*.
Yeah. But Championship manager.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. If he keeps Plymouth away from danger, gets them a top half mid-table finish, then A*. Ipswich South, similar story. It's Kieran McKenna. This is his first senior managerial job, and he's guided them up. A lot of managers have been into Ipswich and struggled to get them through League One. He got them a second place finish once again in a very competitive division, but not managed in the Championship. I suppose you've got to say the same as Plymouth.
Yeah, so the exact same, so stick him in B.
Yeah, done a great job. Let's see how he gets on next season. I think there could be room for optimism for Ipswich coming into the new season.
For both of them.
Liam Rosenior at Hull City is next, Sophie. He came in November last season and did all right. I feel like they were a bit draw heavy. Only a win percentage of 27%, but he kept them away from danger and always had them trying to look up the table and taking draws off good teams. Remember that 4-4 draw at Sunderland. I feel like there's room for optimism for Hull City coming into the new season, but it's only his first job as a manager. I feel like it's probably got to be a B. B.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with a B. Again, kind of similar story to the other two teams in B. However, he has got a little bit of Championship experience under his belt, and I feel like that can only benefit you this season. So again, another team that you kind of look at and you wonder how will they do, because you just don't know this year. So
yeah, okay. Daniel Farke at Leeds United.
A*.
It's got to be, hasn't it?
Yeah, not obviously he's only just taken over at Leeds, but for what he did with Norwich, that alone, he made them such a good Championship team. And then I know they came down.
So Daniel Farke went into Norwich.
Promotions, weren't it?
I think it was a year after he'd been there, he got them promoted. Then they came back down. Then he got them promoted again. And then halfway through the Premier League season, he was sacked. So in terms of what he's done in the Premier League, not great, but this is a championship video. So I think you've got to give him an A star. Yeah. And to be fair, some people might say, oh, but he had Norwich, who were a great team. Look at Norwich without Daniel Farke. They've really struggled.
They've really, really struggled.
So I think he's got to be A star, even though he's not managed a single game for Leeds United yet. I think they've got a good manager there who knows the championship. A star. I'm intrigued to see how they get on next season. Birmingham City South, John Eustace. Now, I personally quite like John Eustace. He's a former Coventry player, quite down to earth, realistic expectations. I don't think he's setting the world on fire with Birmingham, but he's just keeping them out of trouble like a firefighter, really. It's probably going to have to be a B or C. He's been in the Championship for a few years now.
Oh, I'd give him a B, just because he's had to deal with a lot. Like, not on the pitch, like a lot of off the pitch issues, like their ground was falling apart. Now they've got new owners, you think, okay, it's looking more promising. Even like so far this summer transfer window is looking promising, so I think they are moving in the right direction. You've got to give him credit for what he's done at Birmingham with all the mess that's going on. So for me, it's a B.
Yeah, win percentage of about 30%, which is just okay, really. It's just going to keep them above the bottom three. I feel like next season, though, there will be slightly higher expectations for Birmingham with the change in ownership and possibly bringing in some better players. We shall see. But John Eustace, yeah, B. Middlesbrough South, Michael Carrick. It's his first managerial job, but what a job he did.
Yeah, he's done a great job, so I'd have to go A.
Yes.
Him as a player, I loved him as a player, he's a great player. But talking as a manager, one proper season, and he did a great job. They played amazing football, he got the best out of some players, albeit, yeah, he did have some loan players as well, but he made them shine. So it'd be interesting to see what their recruitment's going to be like again this season. But for what he did last season, they had a great season and made it into the playoffs. So he's got to be an A. Yeah.
For a manager that's only managed in the Championship since October, to be an A is very good.
Very, very good.
We're comparing him here to, you know, the likes of Tony Mowbray, Neil Warnock. These managers have been around the Championship for years and years and years. You know, like I say, we need to give him more time and maybe he can work his way up. If he does a bad job with Middlesbrough next season, he might work his way back down. But I think based on the fact that he took them from the bottom three up to the playoffs, A, easily. Middlesbrough fans, share your thoughts. Blackburn South, you've got John Dahl Tomasson. Now, he'd not managed in England before. He'd managed most recently at Malmo. Last season, he had a win percentage of 45%, which was very good. But remember, Blackburn just seemed to win or lose. It was win or lose. But he got him 7th. He's only managed in the Championship 1 year, but he got him 7th. I think he's got to be somewhere in the middle.
No, I'd say A. Because,
really? Wow.
Yeah, so coming over that from a foreign team, sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get to know a different league. But again, hit the ground running, and I think he had a really good season last year, and it'd be interesting to see how he builds on that, because surely the only way is up from there. Yeah,
I agree. I feel like maybe A-, but yeah, he's only had one season, but you know, so close to the playoffs. So real credit to him. It'll be interesting to see how he gets on next season. Blackburn fans, would you agree with an A? Bristol City South, Nigel Pearson. He's actually been at Bristol City quite a while, and I feel like
I didn't realise how long he'd been at Bristol City.
There's been times where I've thought, right, that's it for him. You know, he's on his way. Bristol City, they're not going anywhere. They've got to get rid of him. He's clung on in there and had good times as well as bad times, I suppose. Some good results as well. Let's just say in the Championship, he won the Championship itself with Leicester City 10 seasons ago now. So, you know, he's got promotion on his CV. As for Bristol City, probably a B. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little bit underwhelming, like last season with Bristol City. But he has, as you say, he's got a promotion under his belt, albeit that's 10 years ago now. But he is a good Championship manager, and I feel like if you kind of got him at the wheel, you're in pretty safe hands, to be honest. So I don't think there's real issue with Bristol City going down or anything like that, but really they want to be finishing top half of the table, pushing for a playoff place. So saying that, they didn't have the best season last season, so maybe a B, but optimistic for next season.
Yeah, what did they do last season? They finished about 14th or something, which is okay.
Yeah.
I feel like that's maybe where we'd expect Bristol City to finish. I know their fans would want to finish a bit higher than that. B plus maybe. I think at Bristol City, he's not setting the world on fire, but he's not completely ruining his reputation.
He's not getting a sack.
His reputation is just sort of flatlined at a B.
Yeah.
Let's put him...
B plus.
B plus.
Top end, yeah.
Norwich City, Sophie. David Wagner. I like this guy. He got promoted with Huddersfield Town. He spent 4 seasons with Huddersfield, and like I say, he got a promotion there. He's managed Schalke, Young Boys. He only managed Norwich for half the season. When he came in, they were explosive. They beat Preston 4-0. They came to Coventry and won 4-2. We were like, they're going up. And then they really regressed in the second half of that season. Maybe an A.
I would actually go A, because I think what he did at Huddersfield, no one expected him to get promoted with them. I do expect big things for him at Norwich, actually. I do think they should be having a good season, so the expectation is there. But I think he's a good manager and he can soak up that pressure, so A for me.
I like him. I feel like he's quite a nice guy as well, David Wagner. Share your thoughts on that one if you're a Norwich and a Huddersfield fan. Preston, Sophie, it's Ryan Lowe, who's been there a few years now, and I'm really struggling to make my mind up on him. I've just never really had a strong opinion of Ryan Lowe. I feel like he's not doing a bad job. He's not doing an amazing job. He's just got Preston, who are a solid championship team, and he's keeping them around mid-table.
I see. I'd put him in A, just because he's a steady Eddie, and you disagree, and he's not doing a bad job. I would have him low end of A, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
But we've got some managers that have won the championship before. I don't know. I mean,
what are you going to have him in B? He's proven that he can cut it in the championship.
He managed Plymouth Argyle before. We did all right. He's got a win percentage of 38%, which is pretty good. I suppose
it's hard to beat.
Last season he got them close to the playoffs, but the reality is they've just kept finishing around mid-table. I think B plus. Preston fans, share your thoughts. Would you agree with Sophie saying A, or would you agree with me saying B, or would you say A star or C? I don't know. Share your thoughts. QPR, Sophie. Gareth Ainsworth. Now I'm kind of split down the middle here because I love the guy, but he didn't do a great job for QPR last season. He did amazing for Wycombe. Came in and just about kept QPR up, and there is a little bit of uncertainty going into the new season.
Yes.
Where are we landing with Gareth Ainsworth? He's not really managed a lot of time in the Championship. He did manage Wycombe in the Championship, and they went down, but then again they were expected to, I guess. He did keep QPR up to, I don't know, C plus.
He kept them up, so it will be C plus for me. I do think he's a good League One manager. At the moment, he's not got massive championship experience, so it'll be interesting to see if he gets the whole season, to be honest. I think if he gets off to a slow start, I can't see them keeping hold of him, to be honest.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Out of all of these managers, if I had to spend the day with one of them, it'd be Gareth Ainsworth. He's such a cool looking guy.
Robbins for me.
Oh yeah, Mark Robbins, but other than Coventry, Gareth Ainsworth seems like quite a nice guy. Brilliant job at Wycombe. He was there 11 years, by the way, which is absolutely sensational. But we're judging them on their managerial time in the Championship and their current clubs, and I think QPR fans probably wouldn't disagree with the C plus. Rotherham, Sophie, you got Matt Taylor, who's not been there a long time. He'd managed Exeter City for 4 years previously. He came into Rotherham in the first half of last season, only managed a 22% win ratio, but he kept them up, which most managers have not been able to do before.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people wrote them off as they are a bit of a yo-yo club, so straight away you think, they're going down. And it's kind of easy then as a manager to go in there and think, we're probably going down, and start preparing for the next season. And no, he went in there, kept them up. So that's massive for the club and massive for him. So I feel like he's got to go in B, because he's not had masses of championship experience yet. So it'd be interesting to see if he gets a full season and what he can do with it.
No disrespect to Rotherham, but any manager that can keep Rotherham in the Championship is a good manager. That might sound like an insult, but I think with the history of Rotherham just keep going down, Matt Taylor debunked that, and fair play to him, and I feel like he could easily do the same next season. Sheffield Wednesday, Soph. If it was Darren Moore, I'd be tempted to go A or something. They've brought in Xisco Munoz now, who managed Watford in the Championship. He did get promoted with Watford with a 58% win ratio, which is very good. But he's not managed at Sheffield Wednesday before, so I'm tempted to say maybe a B for now.
Yeah, B because he's unproven at Sheffield Wednesday. He's not got massive Championship experience because I think he was only there for half a season with Watford.
He was, yeah.
But he did get them promoted, so I feel like it's a positive signing really, but it is a little bit uncertain as well. So for me it's going to be B, but again we might look back at this and think, oh, what a job he's doing, and then put him higher up halfway through the season.
Yeah, any manager that's got a promotion on their CV, you know, in the Championship, very good. You know, and to last a good 8 months at Watford as well, that's a real achievement. Let's say, because he hasn't managed much at Sheffield Wednesday, he's got to go somewhere in here, maybe like there. Southampton, Sophie, you got Russell Martin. Now he plays some of the best football, but I feel like he's a little bit overhyped.
I actually agree with you. I thought we were going to disagree on this one.
I think Southampton have a very good chance next season because they have a better budget than teams. And I wouldn't be surprised if Russell Martin gets a promotion with Southampton. But what he's done in the Championship is he's managed Swansea for a couple of years. And every season, me and you have probably sat there and said, they're going to be brilliant. And they've kind of just fallen a little bit below our expectation. He's managed Swansea. He'd managed MK Dons before that. His style of football is nice. I think he will do a good job for Southampton. But at this moment in time, what has he achieved?
Wait, he's not achieved masses. I think the highest finish was 10th place for Swansea. So he's not managed to get them into the playoffs when a lot of times you think, oh, they're set for the playoffs here. He does play very attractive football, where he gets his teams to play very attractive football, and it's possession based. However, that's only good if you're then winning games and actually getting the results and finishing higher up the table. So he's obviously got Championship experience, and he's been pretty consistent, to be honest, because it's not been amazing and it's not been terrible either. So it will be interesting to see what he does at a different club. But yeah, I don't know. My heart's saying that he's going to do a really good job there because they've got a bigger budget, but my head's saying like, it's Southampton. If any other manager came in right now, they could probably do a pretty good job. So maybe B, like top end of B for me.
Yeah, I think maybe middle end of B, if that makes sense. Is there a middle end? You put him in the middle. I think the thing is, we're measuring him now because of what he's done up until now. I think we could be revisiting this video in 6 or 12 months and be putting him in A star or A. Sophie, on to Stoke City, who have got Alex Neil. He's got a promotion on his CV as well with Norwich City. He came, I think it was a very weird move going from Sunderland to Stoke City.
I agree.
I don't think it was a step up, it was a step sideways, maybe even a step down.
Down for me.
You think Sunderland went on to finish in the playoffs. Stoke City were very strange last season. They were either bad or very, very good. They did win away at Sunderland 5-1. They did win away at Coventry 4-0. Measuring him on what he's done at Stoke, probably somewhere in the middle, but he has got a promotion on his CV, which is quite good. So I think A or B. What do you reckon?
I'd say this is hard because I do think he is a decent manager, but I don't know how he's going to do next season. Top end B for me.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think that promotion on his CV speaks volumes.
Bumps him up.
But look how many we've got in B side. Everyone's a B.
Sorry.
But yeah, I mean, he didn't do a bad job with Stoke, just didn't do a great job either. Stoke fans, you can share your thoughts. Watford Soph, Valerian Ismael. He's managed at West Brom before. He's managed at Barnsley. For me, the Barnsley
one stands out.
He got them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
He got them in the playoffs. And I honestly, I know the Watford owners aren't going to be watching this video, but please just give a manager some time.
Give him more than 3 months.
You learnt your lesson last season because you got rid of Rob Edwards. He went to your rivals and he got them promoted. Learn your bloody lesson. I feel sorry for the fans because they're not in control. It's the bloody owners. You're really bad. But at the moment, I think you've got a cracking manager, and I think he's an A.
Yeah, I'd say A. From what he's achieved, and I do think he could do good things at Watford given the time. So this is an interesting one.
Yeah, got to be an A. Yeah. Sophie, Neil Warnock.
A star.
He's got to be.
He's a legend.
the thing is, some people might think, oh, he's a bit of a meme. People think he's just... No, he has got the most promotions out of any manager in Championship football. He's been at Huddersfield before. He got them a promotion in the 90s. He came in last season when everyone wrote Huddersfield off, and he kept them up. Everyone loves his style, you know, those videos from him shouting in the dressing room. He's just such a brilliant character. Not everyone loves him. I know there's been fans of clubs that don't like him. I remember West Brom really hated him when there was the Battle of Bramall Lane in 2001 or 2, and West Brom took on Sheffield United, and Sheffield United had so many red cards and they had to abandon the game. But, come on, this guy... A star.
The amount of experience he's got is ridiculous. The job he did last season, so last season alone, I'd give him an A for that, because a lot of people had written Huddersfield off. He comes in, a lot of people then think, oh, he's past it. He's not past it. It's similar to Roy in Premier League, and I think he could have another good season. So if he stays the whole season with Huddersfield, I think they're safe again.
Oh, easily. And I want them to do well. I don't mind Huddersfield as a club. I don't have a strong opinion because I'm not a Huddersfield fan. I feel in the middle about them. But when you've got Neil Warnock, I like you a little bit more. I rate you a little bit more. I just love that guy. I feel like Huddersfield fans must love him. Sheffield United fans love him. A lot of people love him. West Brom, Sophie, Carlos Corberán. He has managed a couple of times in the Championship. He managed Huddersfield. He took them to a playoff final.
Yeah.
And at West Brom, reasonable.
I'd go low end A, because I feel like at times I thought, oh God, he's such a good manager and look at the job he's doing, he's going to get West Brom into the playoffs. Then he didn't, but I feel like there's still that potential there, and he is a good manager, and I feel like he could build a good squad to compete next season.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I rate him. I think so long as off the field things are stable, he'll always have them pushing in the right direction for West Brom. It's just the instability off the pitch which could do West Brom in next season, but I think they've got a good chance of pushing for the playoffs with Carlos Corberán. I do rate him. Finally, Sophie, Enzo Maresca. Other than just having the coolest name, he is also a former assistant manager to Pep Guardiola at Man City. Not managing the Championship, not managed Leicester before, I suppose.
Have to be C for me.
It will have to be C.
It's unproven.
Even though we both think he's got a good chance of winning the league.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But I feel like, he's taken over a team they're already investing. I mean, obviously they've sold a couple of their star players, but they're reinvesting that. And I think they're going to have a very good season. It is going to be interesting to see what he does. We know what's happened when people have left Man City under Pep and where they've gone on to manage, and they've done very, very well. Like Company as a player to then go to Burnley and Anderlecht as well, and he's done a good job there. Obviously, Mikel Arteta is the standout as well, who's left from under Pep's wing and has absolutely smashed it as a manager. So it will be interesting to see how well he does in his first season. A lot of pressure, a lot of expectation, but unproven.
I agree. That's a very good point you said. Will he be able to soak up all that experience from Pep and follow in Arteta's footsteps by doing a very good job on his own? So then, guys, that wraps up today's video. Do let me know your thoughts on some of them down below. That's just our opinions, but I don't think we've been too unfair with any of those, really. Anyone that's not got a lot of experience, we can't really have at the top ends. Do make sure to drop a like. Do make sure to subscribe, and we will see you all in the next one. Peace out.